Hello class and welcome to Java. We're going to show you how to get going with Eclipse today. I'm going to fire up Eclipse. As you can see, I'm getting Oxygen 3A. I'm assuming that you have installed the Java Development Kit 10.0.1 and that you also have installed Eclipse Oxygen 3A. When you install Eclipse and run it, you will always have to choose a workspace. A workspace is a folder on your computer where you will store your projects that you create with Eclipse. Programming in Java is a little different from Python. You don't create single files, you create projects, and the projects are stored in your workspace. I'm just going to go with the default workspace. You can certainly create other workspaces as well, like some people like to create a folder on their desktop. But just to make a note of where your workspace is, because you will have to find it later. Okay, but I'm going to go with that default, and that will fire up Eclipse. And the first time, I think you'll see this welcome window like this. And there's some good things to look at here. This is the welcome window you can see in the upper left-hand corner. There's a Hello World application where we're actually going to make one in a minute here. How to create a project, how to import projects. Those are all good things that you could check out. And you could maybe look at these tutorials too if you have time. In your spare time, right? We've all got lots of that, right? Anyway, we're going to bypass this today, but feel free to look at that yourself. So I'm going to close this welcome window. And here is the default perspective, as it's called, for working with Java. And I like to get rid of these panes here. So I'm going to close those. I'm going to suggest you do the same thing. And that gives you a bigger window where you can see your programs that you write here. Over here is the Package Explorer pane. Here you will see the projects that you create. And as over the course of this semester, you'll see a list grow here of your projects. And when we run our programs, they will show, the output will show up down here. So let's create a project. File, New, Java Project. And here's the Java Project, New Java Project dialog box. Your project names can be all lowercase. I'm going to call this one Hello World, no spaces. And I'm going to use the project-specific JRE. That's the Java runtime environment. And you'll notice that it is JRE 10.0.1, which means it matches our installation. So you want to use that. And then you can just click on Finish. No need for anything else. And that creates a project in your Package Explorer window. I'm going to expand that, and you'll see that there's some other stuff in here. You don't just create a single file, as in Python. You're going to be creating a single file inside of a project that consists of multiple folders and files. Here's the system library. I'll just click on that to show you that there's all kinds of stuff in here that's available to us by default. These are things that we don't have to import like you would do in Python. They're provided for us, but we can ignore those completely. What we do want is right here. This is where we're going. This is what's called a source folder, and this is where we're going to put our programs. But before we do, we should never use this src folder. We should always click on this package icon and create a package with the same name as our project. So now I have a project called Hello World and a package called Hello World. I'm going to create my files in this package. Easiest way to do that is to click on this icon up on the toolbar, New Java Class, and I'm going to do that right now. So get rid of this annoying message down here, and I'm going to call this class Hello World because we are going to write a Hello World application. Please note the case here. Your class names should begin with an uppercase character, and if they consist of more than one word, the first letter in each word should also be uppercase. That is the Java convention for naming classes. You must adhere to that. probably be deducting points from your work if you do not adhere to the Java naming convention. And that's important, because if you were ever to go for a Java job, they'll ask you to write some code as part of your interview. And if you don't name your classes this way, they're going to have serious doubts about your Java knowledge. So always adhere to the Java naming convention. One more thing that we have to do in this dialog box, and that is click off public static void main. Because just as in Python, our code is actually going to be written inside the main method of Java. We can now hit finish. And we get a skeletal program here. Notice there's the package reference HelloWorld there. That should always be the first line in your program. And then look, we've got public class HelloWorld. Everything in Java is done in a class. And the class matches the name of your program. You'll notice that .java was appended to the file name that we created, Hello World. Well, our class has to match that. It's also Hello World. And then by default, created for us inside this class is a method. It's like a function, but we call them methods in Java because they belong to the class. And as you can see, it's called main, but it's got a lot of other stuff with it that we didn't have to worry about in Python. You'll get used to that. Just accept it for now. Public static void main string args. Don't change any of that. Just accept it. And here you can see a comment. This is Java comments start with a double slash like that. And we'll just take that out of there and press enter. And this is where we're going to write our code. A couple other things to notice here. Notice that code blocks are not done with indentation. A code block starts with an open brace and finishes with a closing brace. You'll notice if I put my cursor up here, I get a little box around the corresponding closing brace for that particular brace. And also notice that the closing brace is right under the letter P here. This is the Java style. Now, if you've taken C++, you might be used to doing something like this. That is not the Java way. Do not do this, okay? Once again, if you were to go for a Java interview, eyebrows will be raised if you do something like that. So what you want to do is put that opening brace at the end of the line. Okay, now let's write some code in here. We want to say hello world. That's the typical first program that coders write when they start a new language. Well, we can't just say print. With Java, we have to say system, the capital S, system dot out dot println. Notice we do get some help from the IDE from Eclipse, and then we'll type hello world here inside of a string. Strings are double quoted, not single quoted, and you'll notice that the line ends with a semicolon. Unlike Python, that's a requirement as well. Well, Eclipse would complain if we had a syntax problem, and we're not seeing any complaints here, so this should probably run right now. I'm going to give it a run. Easiest way to run it is to click on this icon up in the toolbar, and when I do, it'll prompt me to save it, which of course I will, and the output shows up down here in the console window. Drum roll, please. Ta-da! That's our first program. You should try this yourself. Okay, there is a nice shortcut, though. Instead of having to type in that system.out.println, you should be able to type in just SYSO and then hit Control Spacebar, and you'll get a pop-up suggesting sysout print to standard output. If you just press enter, it'll save you having to type in system.out.println. It's a nice keyboard shortcut. And then you could type another string up here. I'll run that again, and we'll see different output, of course. Get two lines now. Println prints whatever you put inside the parentheses and then generates a new line. The LN is your new line. Okay, well that's how you can get started. Now, I could collapse this if I wanted to. Not a bad idea to collapse it just by hitting Close Project to keep this Package Explorer window simplified, and certainly you can open it up again. And you can put as many programs as you want inside that package. You want to put them in the package. I could create another entire class in here. We could call it class 2 or example 2, check our main method, and we could write another program. You'll notice now we have 2 in here. Okay. Good luck with Eclipse.